Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Pio Pico, and today we're going to talk about Dark Dimension 4, specifically my character recommendations for a non-Pym Tech team. That's right, we're not going to use Pym Tech in Dark Dimension 4, even though that's what they were designed for. I'm going to give my thoughts on why that's the case, as well as my reasoning for each of the characters I'm going to recommend. So, a couple of pointers starting off. Why I'm not going to use Pym Tech. Well, I'm not a big fan of fully investing in characters that are new because, by the time we get the characters from events, usually you'll end up with a 4-star, 4 red star character at best, unless you spend money. And I'm not a big fan of that because, these characters were supposed to be really strong for Dark Dimension 4, but, not having them at 7-star, like some other existing characters we have, it doesn't feel great. And we already have a bunch of other options, even though they're not designed for Dark Dimension, but they're still really good. And because for Dark Dimension 4, we need to bring characters up to tier 15. So you need to bring 3 characters up to tier 15, that are new. So not a fan of that. And 2 of those characters are Ant-Man and Wasp, and I can't see the bringing Ant-Man and Wasp to tier 15 because they're on that team. They're the 2 mediocre characters, and such a gear investment. I'm just not a fan of that. So that's my thoughts about the Pym Tech team. The second thing about this team I'm suggesting is my approach, my priority, and this is probably gonna make it different for you when you choose what team you want to bring into it. So for me, I'm actually okay with taking my time getting through Dark Dimension 4. I'm not trying to rush through it. I want to choose characters that I am not going to regret bringing to tier 15. So this is a very different approach to when I did Dark Dimension 3. I chose characters that had pretty low mini-unique requirements. You can get them in there pretty quick. But then after you beat Dark Dimension 3, the amount of use you get from the characters of that gear level wasn't that great. So I look back at some of the characters I brought to tier 14, like Nick Fury, Captain Marvel, Scientist Supreme, and while they're good characters, I don't really use them anywhere besides, Blitz or, War. And even in War, they're not the strongest meta teams right now. So that's my drive for characters, and I prioritize Arena and Raid over War. So in my character suggestions, you'll see that I do choose characters that fit that a little bit better. And then the third thing I want to point out is, even though I'm suggesting these characters, it doesn't mean that you should go out right now and upgrade these characters to level 80, start plugging gear pieces for all the superior uniques and mini uniques. It's more like a guide. For example, I can look at this document I made, and I see that a couple characters require ballistic weave superior unique items. So that means that in the store, I'll be sure to buy those when they come up. And of course, this can change, and I definitely think that we should still wait until Dark Dimension 4 is officially released to see how the nodes are. Because even though there's a data mine on msf.gg, we don't know if those will change. We don't quite know the exact order of the trait nodes. So that's just some thoughts I have before we jump into it. So let's jump into this document that you see in the background. Now I spent hours on this. I spent hours making this document, look at my roster, and see what makes sense to me. So let's just go ahead over the format of how everything looks. So we have these rows here, global, cosmic, city, and legendary. Those are the 4 types of characters that you'll be bringing to the 4 different types of nodes. And then you see we have different character slots. There's up to 5 characters. But you're going to see that there's a break here for the 5th character slot because we only need to bring in 4 characters to start the node. And then as we go down here, you'll see the breakdown of all the characters combined between bio characters, mutant, mystic, skill, tech. I color coded based on just what I felt the color matches up to be. And you can see these numbers represent how many bio characters, how many characters are amongst everyone listed above. And then over here, you see these numbers represent the number of new mini uniques required for 4 characters, which is the minimum to get into the nodes. But if we consider all 5 characters, then I put that there. And as far as calling them the new items that we need, I'm calling them new mini uniques. That's what I'm choosing. So yeah, that's just the layout of this document. So let's go ahead and just start with my global choices. So we're going with Emma Frost here. She's really great. She has, on her ultimate, she has that effect like Loki and Mystique where she'll mind control characters and have them attack each other. So that's going to be really great. I mean, you'll be able to do that every several turns, and that's going to do lots of damage because the characters that are going to be on the enemy team for Dark Dimension 4, they're going to be really strong. So she does lots of damage. She also has her passive where she slows down the entire team just naturally. And she has like barrier, so she's quite a tanky character. And I just like outside of Dark Dimension, she's really strong in war defense. So investing in her is going to be really good. Like, there's been some wars where like people struggle against one Emma Frost because she has so much health, and she'll just stall the whole match. Some people use Emma Frost in Ultimate 7, so she has a lot of use that I'm not going to regret. And she has Ballistic Weave. A couple other characters will have Ballistic Weave, but we'll get into that more. So my second option for global is Mr. Sinister. He only requires 54 mini uniques, and he has the same Ballistic Weave superior unique as her. So Mr. Sinister is really good. His ability to clone, he has synergy with Emma Frost, and yeah, and he provides lots of healing and sustain for the team. And I like how that every time that he starts the fight, he gets energy, which is going to help him get his ultimate back. He's going to clone a lot faster, and so hopefully you clone a character that does like lots of damage to help get through the waves. And so my third option for global is Strife. So this one's a little different than what I've seen other people do. I didn't take Strife into Dark Dimension 3, but as I was looking at all the characters, I like the fact that, you know, global seems like to be the premier place where there's a lot of mutant options. I've seen some people suggest X-23, which is a good option. She's very useful. But I like Strife because I'm choosing Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost for that combined synergy. He only needs 54 mini uniques and Titanium Alloy, which is not bad. I think I have another character that needs it in this suggestion team. But then he also is like a Drax in a sense, where he'll be putting his taunt up as soon as Emma Frost or Mr. Sinister goes below health, and that's just going to help keep the other teammates alive. So Strife is pretty good, and he has synergy with Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost. And then the fourth person I have chosen for the global nodes is Baron Zemo, and I feel like a lot of people are overlooking Baron Zemo because, well, I'll tell you why. Because Baron Zemo, his passive is really, really appealing. He does AoE damage for everyone, and he does that. So on turn, imagine this. On spawn, you do, 300% damage to everyone on the field. And he also has defense up on spawn. So he's going to be able to last, ideally, till his second turn. And imagine if you start off with your ultimate, you gain a charge. And then by the time you get to your second turn... So, okay, sorry, let's play this out again. So Baron Zemo gets on the field. He does his passive, does 300% damage plus to everyone on the field. Gets defense up, and then you start with your ultimate, which adds another charge. Your second turn comes around, and you still have that second charge, and you're going to use your passive AoE damage for everyone again. So he's kind of like a phoenix in the sense that every time you start Dark Dimension 4, you're going to do little damage across everyone in the field. So I like how effortless it is to do so much damage, and for that reason, I think he's very undervalued for this Dark Dimension 4 feature. And I guess outside of Dark Dimension, I mean, he's really good in an Alliance War offense. And I can foresee Baron Zemo being very important in a possible Doctor Doom counter. His ability to clear enemy buffs on spawn is going to be key to like taking out Draxaton to get to Doctor Doom. So yeah, and he's a skill character, and there's not too many skill characters that a lot of people can choose from. So yeah, and he's the only one that uses Serum SO2 as a superior unique. And so that's the 4 main characters I've chosen. Now we're going to get into Taskmaster as the 5th slot, which I don't think is so basically all the 5th character slots are the least important in my opinion. And that's because Taskmaster requires 90 mini uniques. 90 is the most amount of mini uniques that you need, that you can choose from. And he also uses Ballistic Weaves as a superior unique, and that's the same type of superior unique that Mr. Sinister and Emma Frost uses. So I really didn't want to bring Taskmaster into Dark Dimension 4 for those reasons. But then as I was looking at all the available options, there's just not a lot of options. I could bring in another mutant like X-23, but I'm already using 3 other mutants here. I could bring in Yo-Yo, but she's bio, and as you can see below, like symbiotes take up all the bio gear. So if I weren't using Taskmaster, I probably would recommend Ghost. Even though this is a non-Pym Tech team, you know, I do think that Ghost does have a really good kit when it comes to applying offense down. But, you know, once again, I still don't really want to invest in this character that has, you know, that isn't going to be as strong as she could be. And plus, like, and the reason why I'm okay with choosing Taskmaster, though, is because he's such a good character. In Alliance War defense, like, if you have a strong Taskmaster, oh my gosh, like, you'll have multiple defensive wins unless you commit to using a Black Order or something. So definitely, I wouldn't regret upgrading Taskmaster. So that's my global team: 3 mutants, 2 skill. There's not much variance I can see there, but let's go ahead and jump into Cosmic. So Cosmic is the home to more mystic characters. So we're gonna start off with Thanos as my first choice, because I use Black Order and Arena. So having a Thanos at tier 15 is going to make him really strong. He only needs 54 mini uniques, and he has Palladium superior uniques, which no one else here on this list uses. So he's really good. As far as Dark Dimension goes, he's not going to be that great because he's not with the Black Order. So, and then what makes him special is he has his passive offers energy to adjacent cosmic allies. But then in Dark Dimension 4, you're not going to be killing that many enemies. You're not going to be getting that much energy gain. So Thanos isn't really going to be doing much, but because I do use him outside of Dark Dimension 4 in Arena, I also use him in Ultimus 7 for the last Ultimus node, I really want to get him as strong as I can, and he uses Mystic Gear, which is really good for diversity purposes. So the second choice we're going with is Proxima Midnight, who is going to be a skill character. She does require 72 mini uniques, which is a decent amount, but she has Gravitonium superior unique gear, which no one else uses. And she's good because she's skill. I use her in Arena for my Black Order, and her skills are really good with applying offense down to everyone, which will really help mitigate all the damage coming in from Dark Dimension nodes. And then the third option we have is Minerva. I really like Minerva. I still use her on my Ultimate 7 team, so upgrading her is going to make her a little bit better. She still uses 72 mini uniques, which is a decent amount. No one else uses gamma radiation besides her on this list. And so every time she gets her ultimate, she is going to be doing lots of damage. She's going to be taking off lots of damage from the enemies. So she's really good there. Now Hela as a fourth option. She is Mystic, which is good because I don't have a lot of Mystic on this suggestion list. She is expensive. She requires 90 mini uniques. But she has Miasma superior uniques, which no one else uses. So with Hela, I don't know. I really wanted to stay away from the characters that require 90 mini uniques. I mean, there's Taskmaster and her are the only ones on this list. But I feel like Greg is really important to be targeted. I used Hela in Dark Dimension 3, and like it really helped the cosmic nodes because whenever people would target her little minion Greg, it would turn back all the turn meter, and that's just key because I'm guessing the enemies in Dark Dimension 4 are going to do so much damage that absorbing a hit with your Greg is really going to make a difference. So it's worthwhile for us to invest into Hela. And it actually kind of balances out because I only have a total of 3 Mystic characters on this list. So it's okay that she's such an expensive character. Now, the 5th slot is... a lot of people are going to look at this and they're not going to agree. But I'm choosing Corvus Glaive because he's a skill character. I'm sure a lot of us have stockpiled a lot of skill gear. He uses Tesseract energy, which no one else on this list uses. And also, but yeah, because Black Order is in my arena team, and it's going to make him that much stronger. Like, when it comes down to Black Order versus Black Order counters, you know, if you can take Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive down to lower health, that's how you win the matches. So if I can help pump tier 15 gear into Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive, that's going to help them, you know, be stronger than the enemy Black Order and can help me win my arena matches better. But realistically, yeah, Corvus Glaive is not going to do a lot in Dark Dimension. He doesn't really have much synergy with anyone else. Besides giving some bonus damage to Thanos and Proxima Midnight, he's probably just going to get you know, his ultimate off, his special or basic, and then he's probably going to die. So a 5th replacement option that I was thinking of is actually Thor, which would work okay. Thor is a Mystic character, which would help balance out the skill and the Mystic gear. Because right now Mystic is like some of the least amount of gear I have, and skill is actually the most because of Taskmaster. So Thor would be a good option. I asked one of my really strong Alliance members about Thor because he brought Thor into Dark Dimension 3. Because I thought, you know, this could be great. He's going to synergize with Hela. He's going to get charges, and he's going to use his passive hammer hit and do AoE damage to everyone. But my Alliance member said that it didn't come up that often. It was every several battles where he was able to gain enough charges. And that's it. You know, he has his ultimate, but the cooldown on his ultimate is so long. And then for me, it's like, you know, Thor is just used on Alliance War defense. I don't really use him in the raids either for the Greek raids. I think there's other better cosmic options. So for that reason, I decided not to consider Thor as my 5th slot here. Okay, so that's cosmic. Let's go ahead and jump into city. So without a doubt, we see that city is all green across the board, and we're going to be using symbiotes. And this is great double dipping because I use symbiotes as my main Ultimate 7 team. That's right. I was previously using a hybrid team in Ultimate 7 with Thanos, Minerva, Ultron, Ebony Maw, and the last character is Black Bolt. But ever since I upgraded symbiotes, they're great. They can pretty much full auto all the nodes with some targeting. So we're gonna go with the bio gear for them, and because of that, we're not gonna put bio gear in anyone else for the other global, cosmic, or legendary nodes. So the priority for sure is Symbiote Spider-Man. He's the rock star in this team. Unfortunately, everyone used alien spores. I happen to have a 7 red star Symbiote Spider-Man, so the investment's gonna be well paid off in the end. You know, no other explanation I need to give for Symbiote Spider-Man. Secondly, we're gonna go with Carnage just because even though it might be really rough in the first couple of battles, you're probably not gonna be taking that much advantage of the speed gain he offers when enemies are below 50% health. But as the week goes on, when enemies start going lower health, his speed gain for the rest of the team is going to be really helpful to make, you know, your team act a lot faster than theirs. And I like that he's going to be using his his basic a lot. So he's going to be spreading all the defense downs, all the other effects that the other team applies, because there's so many debuffs that gets applied on the enemy team with all the symbiotes. So the third option, we're going with Scream. We're going with Scream because out of all the symbiotes, she only needs 36 mini uniques. So she's going to be a great character with getting into Dark Dimension 4 as fast as possible because she's like the less requirement. Even though she is very squishy, she doesn't take a lot of hits, but she is fast though. So you'll be able to get off a hit before she dies. And then also her special is great. Her special applies offense down to several characters, so that's going to help reduce some of the incoming damage. And then we have Venom. So Between Venom and Anti-Venom as a fourth and fifth important character, I decided to go with Venom, even though he's a little bit more costly than Anti-Venom, because what really helps with this team is having defense up. You know, like with Dark Dimension 3, Venom was the last symbiote that I brought in after Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. And once I brought Venom onto the team, like it made such a big difference when he would be able to get his defense up for 2 turns on the team, because that just helps reduce so much incoming damage. The main challenge is though is like we have to keep resetting this fight to make sure that Venom doesn't get hit. You know, like if they take out Scream first or they hurt Symbiote Spider-Man or Carnage, I think we might be okay, because then Venom will get defense up, and then hopefully we'll start having a snowball effect of getting lots of debuffs and getting healing back and speed up. So that's why I chose Venom over Anti-Venom, and Anti-Venom's great as a fifth last character we'll bring into the city team. I mean, he'll be able to revive some characters, and he'll apply more debuffs as well. But I do think that all the other 4 characters are more important. And yeah, so that's the city team. I mean, like, I think we might get bottlenecked when it comes to the alien spores, the superior unique items. So if that's the case, then I guess, you know, the other options was probably bringing in Punisher. If you're low on skill gear, or if you decide not to go with some of the other recommendations I have for skill characters, Punisher, if you just want to get into it quick. I brought him in Dark Dimension 3, which is okay. He was pretty much just a punching bag. But this time around, I'm really going to try to commit to just using the symbiotes, because I'll be double dipping and having a better Ultimate 7 team. So that's the city characters. Let's get into Legendary. These are confirmed by Scopely to be the last nodes in Dark Dimension 4, so we have some more time to prepare these characters. Starting off, we have Mystic character Ebony Maw. He's quite costly with 72 mini uniques, but I use him a lot. I use him in my arena team for Black Order. I use him on my hybrid team in Ultimate 7. So, you know, we don't have Minerva like last time, because these are all legendary characters. Minerva is going to be stuck in the Cosmic Node section. But so he's going to be using his ultimate every, I don't know how many turns it needs, but like let's say every 7-ish or so turns, we'll gain the ultimate to drain all the health from the enemy. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of damage. That's, you know, the second most damage after Phoenix. So that now we're on to Phoenix. She is going to be the 4th mutant out of everyone on this list. She only needs 54 mini uniques, which is not bad. And I think, you know, I don't think there's anything Scopely can do to prevent her from draining so much health with her special. They're probably going to tune the nodes pretty hard, but I think the bulk of the damage is still going to be done by Phoenix. So without a doubt, she's important. Third choice, Starlord. I mean, you can see like most of all the blue color in Legendary means that all the tech gear is going to come from the Legendaries. And there's not many options that are that appealing in the Legendary section. So Starlord's appeal is his energy, the energy feeding he does. So I'm going to position Starlord at the very end, and I'm going to have Ebony Maw right next to him, so that he'll give energy back to Ebony Maw, so that I can get that ultimate up as soon as I can, drain more health from the enemies, also get more energy for his special, and just get defense up and offense down on the enemies. And I feel like when I do that, that's when I have to really take advantage and make sure all the other characters have their skills ready and make a big impact on that node. And then we have Dr. Octopus as the 4th slot. I chose him as the 4th slot because he only needs 54 mini uniques. I guess the only unfortunate thing is that he does use titanium alloys, which is shared with Strife. But it's only the 2nd character. It's not too bad. And yeah, Dr. Octopus is a good character. Having a really strong Dr. Octopus is key to taking on the Black Order. There's even the hybrid team where you use Dr. Octopus with the symbiotes. That's also a Black Order counter as well. And so, yeah, I think he definitely has a lot of good use there. The last character for the Legendary is Shuri. She uses 72 mini uniques, which is a lot. She uses Vibranium, which no one else uses on this list. And she's really good because, you know, like, she's really fast. So once the fight starts, you'll be able to apply defense up. She applies heal block on her basic, so that can help if you're facing off some characters like I think I saw some nodes on the data mine where like there's a Miss Marvel. So if you can time her basic and apply heal block on those characters and prevent them from getting health back, that's gonna help. But yeah, I don't know. Like with Shuri, I don't really use her anywhere else right now. I don't use her for raids. I don't even use her in war actually, because I know a lot of people use Shuri on war defense with the mercenaries, but I use her for a bit, but I found that it's better to use just straight villain mercenaries with Taskmaster, because that will make him act the fastest. When you put Shuri on the team with mercenaries, it does cause Taskmaster to act a little slower. So that's why I don't use her anymore. But she's still really good, and she does help balance out the tech gear requirement with 4 characters. So yeah, so I went ahead and I broke down all the characters I'm using, the reasoning behind each one. And yeah, I mean, just to kind of reiterate the overview here. So, we have 5 characters, the symbiotes, the 4 mutants, 3 in global, Phoenix. We have only 3 mystic, but Hela does take 90 mini uniques, so I think that'll balance things out. We have, it's weird, it's still weird to see we have 4 skill characters, but I mean, I think it's fine. We have a lot of skill acquired from Dark Dimension 3. I don't think a lot of people took a lot of skill characters in, so it's fine if there's a lot of gear requirement there. And then we have 4 tech. So I do think we have a very diverse amount of characters across each of the 5 character traits. And then as you see the breakdown here, just entering nodes, you see that like skill has the least requirement, because I really just think Baron Zemo and Proxima Midnight are the most important. And then like when you see all 5 characters, it is still weird to see that skill has the most amount of mini uniques as bio, which is the symbiotes. But then again, I mean, like I said in my alternative suggestion, you could choose to go with Thor instead of Corvus Glaive for the cosmic nodes. So yeah, I don't know. There you guys have it. To me, this is just a really rough guide. I'm not gonna be fully upgrading these characters like all the way to level 80, tier 15 right now. I'm still level 75. But like I said, it's just a guide to help you plan ahead. I'm still going to be farming all these superior uniques in the store when they come up. I'm not necessarily going to be spending war currency, because I still feel like Cole Obsidian might be coming to the war store. I want to farm him a lot. But this is a really great guide. I really hope you enjoyed my discussion over all these characters. I hope it inspires you to, maybe you want to take this route, or it'll help you make your own informed decision. But yeah, I don't know. I think we'll still see. I hope Scopely releases Dark Dimension 4 in the game pretty soon, so we can really start planning ahead, and just start it. Every day it's a fun feeling. I don't know if fun's the right word, but it's a nice feeling to just enter Dark Dimension 4 and just do a little bit of damage and make small progression. And now we'll just kind of join together and help each other out and get through this frustrating long content as best as we can. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys sitting through this long video, hearing me talk about this. I hope it was helpful. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It really helps me out trying to get to 100 subscribers to get a custom URL. But that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. This is Pio Pico signing out. I'll see you later.